working on another scabbard for them, but something that doesn't take as much time and is much more convenient for storage, taking up less space. We've made a few of these. This one have a post on how I made this, but this is what I'm going to be working on now. This is the original one I made years ago, probably 10 or more at this point. As you can see, this has a black rubber interior. Can't get this hose anymore. And when I got this one, I got just enough for this. At this point, the tip sticks out beyond, so I basically flip the end over where it isn't cut, insert like so. The end still comes there, so I guess flip it over, and it's just inside the end. So I'll take some twine, tie from here to here, and that's how I keep that on. Here's some other okay, here's a coil that I've received, so I cut the ends off of it. This is a double layer. The inside has a rubber plastic coating, the outside doesn't. As you've seen in my video about preparing rope, where I take it and I put it in shellac. These pieces of twine actually were old curtain cord. This white shellac is what I'm going to use, and it keeps the twine from fraying. So this inner may not fray as much, so pop the top from that, and this one is cut extra long for this Jameson bowl saw. I don't know if they make these anymore, but it came with a used set of poles, and so I'm going to enjoy its use with the extra length. As you can see, it's probably 2 inches longer than what seems standard. I like these with this tip because it's particularly handy for grabbing branches, whether out of the tree, but also as I've aged, bending over isn't as comfortable as it once was, and to use a 6-foot pole saw to pick smaller branches off of the ground, basically looking for a crotch or a union where one branch comes off the main stem, I can hook into here, and I've gotten quite good at tossing them toward the desired direction, whether it be the chipper, the back of the truck, whatever. And a lot of the times it works well to get the small branches out of the way so that the raking can occur. Here I am with the hose in the shellac. Basically, I have folded it so that it will fit into the top nicely, and that way it can fuse the ends of those hoses so that they will not fray once I put them into use. What I like to do is using a hot nail on cotton fiber. It doesn't do anything, but synthetics, it helps to melt the fibers so that they are less apt to fray, and use that to drill holes through this webbing. I call it webbing, but it's actually fire hose. Our fire services can only use a hose for a certain period of time, and after that they retire it and it becomes a waste product. So it makes sense to me, as I've said before, my frugal nature of trying to not waste and make use of the abundance that is around us, and keep more of my money in my pocket, and to help with the things that are important. And sometimes it's helping those less fortunate around us. Thank you. Okay, here we are with finished products. This one here, which you saw before. This, I had taken a hose and folded it. These are two different lengths. This one here stops at this point. This one here comes all the way to the end. Maybe an inch between the different. Took the hot nail, went through there, put the loop on this side, and on the back side, in here, which you probably can't see, I tied a knot. And so the end of this goes over here to tie, and the end of that goes over here. It could probably be just a small rubber band or bungee to accomplish the same thing, but this creates much less space, especially when piling gear into a box or whatever. Another trick that I have done is on the back side here, I put a washer on the nut, on the bolt or screw that goes through to create this nub or nipple that the saw blade rests on. That washer then goes over the bolt that goes to this, that actually holds the blade on. That way when this comes off, that bolt doesn't drop out and become lost. You can see it much clearer on this one, where that nut or bolt holding this washer, and then the washer holds that bolt on. This one here is custom made because it is, I think it's an 1/8 of an inch larger than this standard. I found a set of poles, 5 poles. At this point it's probably 20-30 years ago, and I don't know if they were unique or what, but I have not found them since. But this saw, or this adapter, was made to fit those poles. This is that longer Jameson blade. You can see how the end has been fused with the shellac, and as an attachment point I put the line through and just tied it around. This is a setup pad attached to a short pole. What I've done for identifiers is I've used a vibrational marker or engraver, and because the aluminum is soft, I mark it here, and also there's a flat surface here that I've marked. Unfortunately, because this is much harder material, it's difficult to get penetration so that the mark will be resilient. The darkness of this is because this blade was rusted, and I used vinegar to take the rust off, and so that it doesn't re-rust from moisture in the air, whatever. I've then treated it with a 30 weight oil, only because that oil will penetrate and protect it against rust. This is what I have as far as it's set up here. And there's this one. These two. And so you can fit into somewhat of a compact space compared to piling a bunch of these up. Wouldn't fit in that same space. So hope that was helpful, and again, feel free to subscribe or leave comments, ask questions, and till next time.